Welcome to Insane Builds, the series of which I talk about builds that I personally find insane due to it being incredible in one way or another. I'm Tio, and in this one I'm gonna talk about a Sword and Shield build which takes the cake in so many regards due to it not only being very powerful and doing a lot of damage, but also is incredibly sustainable. Simply put, if you're good with it, you never die, and you never have to drink a potion to heal your health. Now let's jump into the build and show you the stats. As you can see, it's very much focused on having high attack, which is, well, you know, basics for any build that wants to do a lot of damage. So, 7 attack. Or 6 or 5, depending on how many attack jewels you have, of course. I only have 2, so that's what I'm rolling with here. 3 critical boost, and these comes purely from decorations. I will provide you with a build that's nearly equally as good without, so don't worry about that one if you don't have that many rare decorations. But moving on, and as in most builds, 3 in weakness exploit for that extra crit chance on weak body parts, as well as 3 in peak performance, which of course gives plus 20 attack whenever you have full health, which you will be having continuously with this build. 1, 2 or 3 in recovery up depending on how many attack decorations you have, which also means that your attack will be lower if you don't have the decorations, but it doesn't matter all that much. This one is to increase the amount of health recovered by any source, which with this build you get just by attacking. 1 maximum might giving 10% crit chance when your stamina is full, and 1 in non-elemental boost which increases attack of non-elemental weapons by 20%. The weapon itself is the Barroth Club 3, and a hugely important part of it is its augments. So if you don't have any health regen augments at all, you can just ditch the recovery stats, which also means you can ditch the sustainability I talked about before. However, it's still a viable build if you don't mind using potions. Anywho, it's got 1 attack augment and 2 health regeneration augments, and could potentially be switched around, but I find that 2 works quite well for now, as 1 single dive bomb heals approximately as much as a mega potion, which helps out quite a bit as you really don't have to heal. Next up is the Dragon King eye patch, which of course has 2 in weakness exploit, and in it is the critical boost jewel. The chest is the Dober Male B with 2 attack and the non-elemental boost jewel, and so over to the hands with 1 in peak performance, and depending on your amount of attack jewels, you put 1, 2 or 3 of those into that one. Replace the attack jewels you don't have with medicine jewels. Pants comes down to Nergigante Coil B with 2 attack and the Tenderizer jewel, and then we have the feet with maximum might 1, which isn't really necessary, and pretty much the only reason we want these is because of the last level 2 decoration slot, as most of the other ones doesn't attribute anything remotely as good as 10% crit when your stamina is full. However, this one contains the critical boost jewel. As well as we got the Unscathed Charm 2, which of course gives us 2 in peak performance, and as for the support items, I recommend going both for the Rocksteady Mantle and the Affinity Booster, as those 2 combined gives us a maximum potential of damage, considering you don't have to think about getting knocked over while being in the middle of a combo. Now this is how it should look if you have done everything right, and this should suffice you with both incredible damage and sustainability. Alternatively, you can go another route if you don't have all the critical boost decorations, and you can skip to this point shown on the screen if you don't want to see that and just want to see it in action and how to play. The weapon, helm, chest and charm is the same as mentioned before, but the gloves are now the Nergigante Vambraces A, which gives plus 2 agitator and 1 attack. Leggings are now the Val Hazak Coil B, which of course has peak performance plus 1 and 2 or 1 in attack depending on how many attack decorations you slot into it. The other one is replaced with a medicine jewel. And last up for the boots, you have the Dober Greaves B, which has plus 2 attack and a slot for the medicine jewel. This works just the same as the other build, it just doesn't crit quite as high, and this is the gear I used to do a speedrun on Nergigante with, which I've uploaded to this channel, by the way. How do you play? I'm not gonna go over the extreme basics such as slashing and shield combos, as many other people already has got that covered quite nicely. I'll just focus on the main part of the playstyle of this particular build and how to get the most amounts of damage from it through the dive bomb with the shield. First of all, to start the combo, all you have to do is, after any attack, dodge roll, or simply just while guarding, you press towards your character's back with your left analog stick and press circle B Xbox. This now makes your character dodge backwards, and when this happens, you hold the circle until your weapon does a glow. This now launches you forward, and depending on if you hit something or not, it will either launch you up towards the next part of the combo, where you can either press triangle Y or circle B to finish off the combo. Now that's if you hit. If you miss, you'll just slam the ground and go back to your ordinary stance, opening you up to do it all over again. So if you manage to hit a target, you launch into the air, and if you press triangle, you will do a slash with mediocre damage, and a chance to mount the monster as it does mounting damage. This of course is incredibly useful if the monster is about to run out of the zone, but it's not what we're doing with the build. What we're focusing on, however, when you've launched into the air, you press circle while in the air, and you'll now do a dive bomb, doing tremendous damage. Now in either case, whether you chose to do a slash or a slam, you're now open to go directly into a backward starch to do the combination with swift repetition. This again is achieved by pulling the left analog stick towards your character's back, depending on which direction he or she lands, pressing and holding circle. Now, to talk about why we want to do this combination over and over, it's simply because it's the combination that continuously does the most damage to a monster, as long as you manage to get all 5 hits pulled off in the sequence of this moveset. One hit is in the beginning right after the dodge, and you have to stay close to a monster early in the combo to actually get this one off. This one is probably the hardest one out of the 5 hits to pull off, as you normally aren't that close to a monster before you jump towards it, but it's definitely a good increase in your DPS. However, this one isn't the one doing the most damage, and if you don't hit that one, you still got 4 to go. And the next one is when you slam the ground itself, and swiftly after you do another one on the way up into the air for you to then hit with your shield on the way down, and once more when you hit the ground itself. All in all, that's 5 moves that does between 110 and 160 damage, each adding up to a good 500 to 700 damage in one single combo, assuming you get in all the hits of course. So for the short period of time it takes to continuously do the move, it quickly adds up to a swift kill and lots of broken body parts. You will most likely not get the tail severed doing this, though you might get lucky with your slam to the ground after the backwards dodge. But if you want the tail cut, you should probably focus on doing that with your sword alone, even if it's a club. Anyways, that's it for now, and once again, if you want to see the potential of the sword and shield, I highly recommend you check out the speedrun, which is on one of the cards at the end of this video, where I slay the Nergigante in roughly 2 minutes. Otherwise, there are other insane builds if you're interested in seeing some of those, all on links in the description. For now, I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked this video, I very much appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, as it would help tremendously. I hope you have a great hunt, and until next time, so long.